Hi guys, my name is Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Guys, I'm back. It feels so weird to talk to you after having one video off. The first video I took off in 4 years on YouTube. Wow. Number one, new background. I have a new desk up here with my old Mac. I'm trying to sort shit out over there. Also, I'm aware that this is not my color, but as you can probably hear, I have a little story to tell you. I've been really sick. I got really sick maybe 2 weeks ago in the middle of 31 Days of Horror, which is probably why you're here. And during that period, I just kind of like held on to the sickness. And then when I took a break this past weekend, it all caught up to me real fast. Anyway, I was meant to wear this for Halloween. I missed out on going out for Halloween to a Halloween party on the weekend. Sure, I dressed up. If you guys didn't see, I dressed up as Jessie from Gerald's Game on actual Halloween, where I went and saw Halloween back to back, which I'll get to later into this. But I had a second costume, which was my little Charlie from Hereditary. I even made a little... Wow, does that not look makeshift? Look, I painted the crown and everything. I mean, I tried. Anyway, I didn't get to wear this, but I definitely will take some photos in it for some kind of like fake Halloween costume pictures, I guess. So stay tuned for that on Instagram. But I thought I'd wear it today because I think you guys would probably appreciate it more than it just like sitting in this room, and it just makes me so sad. Anyway, I'm really sick, so I apologize for everything. But I do want to talk to you guys about the wrap up for 31 Days of Horror. Man, was it an intense 31 days. I do want to thank you guys who commented. There was people who commented nearly every single day, and I freaking love you guys. You guys are the freaking best. I got a lot of subscribers during 31 days, and I think it was because I put up my Suspiria review, the remake review that I did. I decided to toss that in there along with the 31 videos. So hello if you're new. If you don't know what this is, and if you're returning and you don't know what this is, after every 31 days, I do a little wrap up because I know some people don't have time to watch all the 31 videos, so I'm going to tell you the good and the bad and what you should kind of watch, and you can make up your own mind, or you can go into that day and actually have a look in detail about what I thought, my initial reaction. I also do want to tack onto the end of this video how I felt about the new Halloween remake, just because so many of you guys have been asking, and I think that it's probably like a good forum for me to tell you. I also want to tell you right now, the question that every single one of you guys have asked me. Yes, I have watched The Haunting of Hill House. I got this question maybe every single day of October. Not once, not twice, at least 5 times on Instagram, on Twitter, here. When I was sick all weekend, that's what I watched. I loved it, but I want to do a video for you guys because you guys are really into the idea of that. Let me know if there's something you want me to cover in particularly, or what you think I should do. I don't want to just do a review. I feel like you guys have all seen it, so there's no point in me reviewing it if you've already all seen it. Anyway, let's jump into the 31 Days of Horror. Wow, what a fucking ride. We had a lot of 5s. That's what I want to say. It was the year of the 5. But I do want to talk about my top 10, and let's just get straight into it. A French film about a dog's inner dialogue, a bull terrier's inner dialogue, and his description of humanity and how it impacts his life. It is a beautiful, strange, surreal, deep dive into the psyche of a dog, and it's done in a complete serious way. This movie is listed as a horror comedy, which I thought was really funny, but it definitely topped my list because it was just such a unique idea, and the tone of it was really interesting and amazing and captivating, and I just couldn't look away. But I do want to say that this film does have animal cruelty, but it is inferred, it's not really shown, and it's definitely in the storyline, it's in context. But that is my number 1 pick. I fucking love that movie. My second favorite film of 31 Days of Horror is Intruder. This is a film from 1989, an 80s slasher, guys. Who would have known? This has really topped my list of slashers. I thought it was really interesting. Just the kills were insane, and it just kept like giving. It gave a lot. It had a lot of cheesy dialogue, but I really like the whole way it came together. It's about workers in a grocery store when an ex-boyfriend who's abusive breaks in, and then people start dying. But it sounds so lame, but I thought it was so great. And I don't know, I just never heard of it before, and it really blew my mind, and I was not expecting it. Like 10 minutes in, I was like, I don't think this is for me. But once it gets going, it just does not stop, and there's some pretty cool encounters. Bruce Campbell, wink, you need to check it out if you haven't. Highly recommend it. Number 3 for me was definitely K-Shop. This film, so original and cool and different, and yet so relatable and realistic. It's about a shop in England, a kebab shop, and people are just getting drunk on the streets of England and yeah, just being awful human beings. I don't know if it's spoiler, I won't say it, but the owner decides to take matters into his own hands. I think it's quite obvious where it's going, but it does change directions quite fast, and it's such an interesting social commentary on the situation of drunk people and just the shit they do and how awful it is, and society and all that fun stuff. Put into a movie, mashed all up and easy to digest-ish. I liked this movie. I felt this movie. Number 4 is a Japanese film about the booth. This is a film that kind of goes back and forth in time and is about the past of some disc jockeys, is that what they call them? Radio hosts, as they're put into a haunted booth. And it goes back and forth through their lives and how they all kind of came together, and evil spirits. It's such a mishmash of like everything that you know about J-horror, but really interesting and really unique idea being put into a radio booth, a haunted radio booth at that. And I like how there's a lot of elements here and a lot of subplots, but yet it's such a simple storyline. I think that's such a weird and unique balance, and they did it really well. Oh my god, I need to talk to you about my next one. It's Mortal Remains, which this film would have been like, to me, but there was a couple of things that I felt were a bit off about it. But if you check out the day that I watched it, man, I was raving about it. This is a movie that is so interesting. If you like Blair Witch, you need to watch this movie. This movie is meant to be the making of a Blair Witch documentary, interviewing the maker of Blair Witch, and then it goes in a different direction when they find out about this film that was never seen, called Mortal Remains, and it is about how disgusting this director is who made this film, and it is a found footage mockumentary type situation. It blew my mind that I didn't know about this film. I think you can watch it on YouTube, and it's definitely worth renting. If you like Blair Witch, you need to watch it. Next, we need to talk about A Tale of Two Eyes, and I mean, once I figured out what this film was about, it was a no-brainer. This film was a classic. It is an anthology horror movie, I guess. It's 2 45-minute films put together. One is actually directed by Argento and the other one by Romero. And both films are very interesting and very unique. I really like the first one. It's about the afterlife. I know that that's really vague, but maybe explore it for yourself. It's definitely worth it. It's a theory on the afterlife. And then the second one is, again, animal cruelty, but it's about this black cat. I'm gonna leave it at that. These are great films. They're both 45 minutes long, so there's a lot for me to spoil really quickly, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Definitely check it out. My next is Habit, which I felt was a hit and miss with a lot of people. It is a vampire story, and some people call this the most realistic vampire movie of all time. Just the way he gets sucked in is very strange and realistic, I guess. It's how a vampire would show up in your life and kind of bedazzle you, or glamour you, I should say. Yeah, if it was really to happen. So I definitely recommend it, though, as I said, it is a hit and miss with people, so you'll either love it or hate it. The next film I want to talk about is Kidnapped, and this is a Spanish film, and it's more of the way this film is put together, which made it so amazing. It's about a family that get robbed, and it just kind of how that plays out, but it gets real sticky and very gory, and the cinematography is just beautiful, and they have this great split screen effect, which I fucking love. If you're into brutal foreign horror, definitely check this one out. The next film I want to talk about is Ravenous. It is a film from Quebec, I believe, French-Canadian. It is on Netflix. It's not a Netflix original. I got told off for saying that, but it is on Netflix and that's where you can find it. For you zombie lovers, I didn't miss you. This film is a zombie lover's dream with a twist. It is a film that kind of has all different characters and how they come together, so it's like Walking Dead sitch, but it has a little bit of a point to difference, and I really like the sound design in this movie. I think it's done really well, and of course it's shot beautifully, but sound design. And then the last film, I wasn't sure whether to put this one in here, it was definitely hanging on the edge, is Alice Kills. This film is very strange, and the reason I keep it on my top 10 list is because it sticks with me the most. It is about a woman who's just kind of pushed over the edge. Or does she push over the edge? Anyway, you can see that she's been obsessed with her friend, and her obsession gets out of control, and then she starts spiraling out of control. The film definitely has a lot of flaws, but it's very interesting, and it's very gory, and it's very like American Mary, but done wrong, if that makes sense. So if you like American Mary, you'll probably love this movie. Definitely check it out. Insecula is the worst film. I hated this film. I watched it on Halloween itself on day 31. This was meant to be, you know, just like a fun horror comedy, but it was just trash and lame, and it went for it with the storyline, and it just kept going, and yeah, wasn't a fan. Second one is Warlock. I know a lot of you guys love this movie, and nostalgia factor, I think, for a lot of you, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get into this movie. It was too cheese for me. It might be a nice cheese that you enjoy with a friend, but alas, I watched it alone, and I was not a fan. Next is actually an Australian film, so you know I'm not biased, is Next of Kin. I thought that this sounded amazing. It is meant to be a classic as well, about a girl who goes to take over like a retirement home. It's not really a retirement home, I should say like a nursing home, and there's, you know, something creepy going on in the house, and it's got to do with her family's past, but there was a lot of slow-mo, there was a lot of strange shit going on. John Jarrett's in it, which is amazing, but I just couldn't get on board with this one, unfortunately. I think it's a personal thing, because I know some of you guys really like this film. Next is Jackals, which is a film that is about occult intervention, and I mean, that makes me very excited. Sounds wrong, probably is. But this film just did not deliver. It built so much up, and it crashed real fucking hard. And I did say in my 31 Days of Horror review for this that I would love to see this film remade, because it was such a good idea, and it was just done so badly. Next is Replace. I watched this live on 31 Days of Horror for my Patreon hangout that month. Me and Wilson and Dean and Gromit watched it, and it was just a bizarre trip. It was a lot like Sunchoke in a way. Very surrealist, but yeah, it just didn't make much sense, and I was not for it. I don't know what else to say about Replace. It was very confusing, and it just took it a step too far. Like when you don't even know who you are anymore when you're watching a movie. That's how I felt. Speaking of not knowing who you are, Singapore Sling. I'm kind of sad this made my list of bottom 10, but it just did. I guess 10's like 1/3 of the whole list, so it's hard. But I really love the original idea. It was just so much masturbation was in this movie. If you have no idea what Singapore Sling is, I don't even know how to explain it to you. It's like a cool murder story with a lot of sex and devious situations put into it, incest. It's just fucking gross, and it's meant to be. It's one of those films that are meant to be, but you could imagine it as a stage play and actually being a really interesting and cool and like twisty story, but unfortunately I loved reading your comments for Singapore Sling. I thought they were so funny, and if anything, it was like a fun bonding experience, I think, for us all. The Monster, I watched this on day 5. I felt like that was really early on. I was really looking forward to watching this film for a very long time, and unfortunately I felt like it was too slow, and although the mother and daughter relationship was interesting, it just was not enough for me. It's a movie about mother and daughter who get trapped in a car with a monster, but it doesn't really go the places I wanted it to take me. It was quite boring and slow. And a lot of you guys said the same thing. Sunchoke, day 1. This is another film I was really looking forward to, and it just didn't get there for me. It is a movie about a woman who is locked inside a house and she's kind of being taught how to be normal again. And what you can tell from it is she's had a psychotic break. And I just wish there was more revealed. It just didn't give me enough. And it was just really vague. And I think it was meant to be like that, but wasn't for me. That's gonna be my saying tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Mind Games, another film that felt very short. I actually rented this one off YouTube. It is one of those films, actually I won't say it because it will give it away, and I know some of you guys might want to watch it. But it had a lot of plot holes and too much for me to forgive, really. That is my main point. The characters were also really dumb. There was one character that just annoyed the fuck out of me and made no sense. If you want to hear me rant and rave about it, you can watch the video. Then we have Static. This film I hated the whole way through. I thought it was a piece of shit. It was really quiet. It was very strange. And then the ending of this film is so good, but I cannot like forgive the rest of it. But I do think it's worth watching, which is why this is at the bottom of my, top 10 bad. So if you're gonna forgive anything, probably forgive this one. If you're into film writing or anything like that, screenwriting, this is a good one. It's a good one to learn from, but it's also like it's a cool twist. Shh. So if you're looking for a short list instead of watching all 10 and you have your pen and paper in front of you, I want you to write down Baxter, Mortal Remains, K-Shop, Seventh Moon, and Vampires. Although Seventh Moon and Vampires were not in my top anything, top or bottom, they are very original movies, and I think that that's what you guys will get the most kick out of. Obviously, this is all my own personal opinion, guys. I do not rate things to be like unbiased. My personal opinion comes into if I like a film or not. So those are the ones that I definitely would pick for you guys to watch. I also want to mention that the scariest film I think out of this list was The Booth. If you're looking for something scary. That was a lot of information. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna quickly dive into my thoughts on Halloween 2018. Just to throw something extra in here for you guys watching. Let me preference this by saying I am not a OG fan of Halloween. I've always liked the original Halloween. I did do an editorial piece recently for Dread Central on The Shape, and I learned a lot about The Shape through that and through some other things I've been working on in the background. So my appreciation for John Carpenter's Halloween is up here. But my investment for the new Halloween was kind of down here. So I feel like there was a lot of other people who voiced their opinions, such as Mother Mayhem, Nightmare Maven, Wolfman's Got Nards, and Lee Drumdums, who are OG fans, and I feel like they should speak on these kind of films. I'm more of a Suspiria type gal. You guys know me. I'm not really a slasher OG fan. I enjoy them, but I think that I'll let other people shine when it's got to do with that whole culture. But in saying that, I really did like the new film. I did watch it back to back with the original and then the new one. So I definitely, although I haven't watched the original one a billion times, I could definitely feel, the same vibes. And obviously it was insane how similar all of the scenes were together. I do understand there were some flaws with, the character development, kind of taking you off course at points, but I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually really kick-ass, and I really liked the ending. The ending blew me away. The last 20 minutes I was all for, and for me, you know me, I'm very excited by movies. I'm very passionate, so if you throw in the last 20 minutes and give me a hurrah, I walk out of the cinema singing its praises. And I really went in with low expectations. I got a laugh out of it. I got a really feel-good moment, and that's kind of all you expect for horror movies. I will say though, I haven't heard anyone else say this, and if I have, maybe I've forgotten through the flu, but I thought that the start was really lame. The whole podcasters going up to him in that asylum thingy. You know what I'm talking about because it was on the trailer. And the way they're all laughing and then it hits to Halloween, that was so fucking lame. All of my hope and dreams just fell out of my body. So I was really surprised that it took it back from there, but I was really surprised that no one said anything and everyone thought that was like a kick-ass moment, because I thought that was really fucking cheesy. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I thought the character development was interesting. I thought there was a lot of feminist tones in it, which I'm all for. And that's how I felt about Halloween. I know that's just a quick kind of insight, but I really liked it and I gave it a 7 out of 10. I want to thank you guys so much for hitting, I'm on 16.5K. It's fucking amazing, and I just love you guys. I want to thank you for being here, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. You're gonna see me with this voice again because I'm about to record my The House That Jack Built review. Guys, it's gonna be gnarly. I can't wait. You guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be up on Monday. But thank you again for staying with me for 31 Days of Horror. You guys made it the best year this far, and I love you so much. Stay spooky, guys. Bye.